what's next? Let's get the context. Let's get the analysis. Bring in the economist, Betsey Stevenson, who in the Obama administration was a member of the Council on Economic Advisors. As always, Betsey, welcome. I want to, if we go big picture on this, and I'll talk about the court ruling, I guess, in a moment. But I was intrigued by the market, right? The stock market went up last night, the futures, and now it's not doing too much. Because I think people are looking at this and saying, you know what? Okay, the president's got a lot of ways to work around it in some ways. He could use other laws, right, to impose tariffs. What do you think is going to happen next?
I think what we're seeing from the markets is that the uncertainty hasn't gone away. We don't know what's going to happen yet. And this has been one of the reasons the market has rebounded is Trump has backed off a lot of the tariffs. So the market's already priced in the idea that these tariffs aren't going to be real. And so the court says, yeah, this was overreach and he didn't have the legal authority to do this. And the markets are like, okay, that's one way in which we already thought tariffs might not go into effect. So it's not a surprise you're not seeing a big bounce back, given that we already had the taco bounce back, as they call it, right? Trump was going to chicken out bounce back. I think that it would be a mistake to see this single court ruling as the end of turmoil, upset, and uncertainty. I think this president has made it very clear that market uncertainty, that economic uncertainty is his style, and he's actually trying to foster it. Anytime there is a little bit of stability in the market, he comes out with some new announcement, unpausing a pause, repausing a pause. So he is not at all afraid of causing that kind of volatility, and I think what we're seeing is the market getting used to operating in this new, highly uncertain environment.
You didn't like that taco trade thing, obviously, as Kelly just played that from yesterday. He was worked up about that, the president. He doesn't like being referred to as a quote-unquote chicken, that he was going to back down, right? We get that. Now, he met today, and this is, I think, related in some ways. He met today with the Fed chairman. So Jay Powell was at the White House and talking to Trump. And what I thought of when I saw that is that, you know what? Obviously, President Trump wants lower rates. One way might get Jay Powell to cut rates, correct me if I'm wrong, is if the tariffs went away. Like if the court ruling stayed and there were no tariffs, maybe Powell would cut rates.
Well, I mean, that is right in the sense that the Fed was on target to be lowering rates this year. And then these huge tariffs created enormous inflationary pressure. And the problem for the Fed is often when we're looking at a tariff, it's a one-time increase in prices, but that's a pretty big one-time increase in prices, right? If prices jump up 10%, that's huge. And the Fed's concern is that people don't just shrug their shoulders and say, but surely inflation's over after that. They start to get anxious. They start to anticipate future inflation. If that happens, that's where the Fed's got to rein things back in. They're afraid that it's not something that they could just look through. So they've been waiting for more concrete evidence that inflation expectations stay anchored around 2%. And if the tariffs go away, there's lots of reasons that they had essentially, they'd gotten us almost to 2%, right? We've had 1% inflation. We're pretty much ready for rates to come down if we don't have a new supply shock, which is what these tariffs were. Well, this new supply shock causes rising prices, and the Fed has to do something.
But to your point, we're not certain of what is next. Let me show you a couple screens here on the tablet, and then I want to get your thoughts on this, because you started with the uncertainty comments. What did the court block? The Liberation Day tariffs, what did they not block? Some of the steel, aluminum, auto, and solar tariffs. And then we have the second screen here. If you look at the blue lines, this is what was struck down by the courts, things like the Chinese, Hong Kong, the Mexico right there. So anything that's in blue adds up to like $10 billion. Theoretically, some of these businesses, I guess, Betsey, could be looking for refunds, but we'll see how it all works through the courts. But what do you think is actually going to happen here? Because like you said, there's still a lot we don't know.
Well, I am not going to speculate on what the courts are going to do because I'm not a lawyer, I'm an economist. But, I think that what we have seen from this president, and I was thinking this as they've said, this is judicial overreach. I don't think there's anything that this president thinks the court should stop him from doing. And so it's a game of whack-a-mole if they shut this down.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.